Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom video for the week of April 19th through the 25th of 2021. And we now have Venus in her home sign of Taurus. Hopefully we are all feeling a little bit more pleasurable. Nice to be around, maybe a little more accommodating when it comes to how we interact with each other, maybe even ourselves. It is possible too that we're being activated in looking at our material world, our physical sensation, and saying in our bodies, right? And just going, what do I need in order to really feel comfortable? What can I attract in my life? And maybe it's a little easier to attract some of these things that help us feel maybe a little more beautiful, a little more in alignment with the sensual nature of ourselves. Hopefully, those of you who are struggling in relationship have found some relief. Venus loves being in Taurus, and this beautiful planet of art and beauty and harmony and love and relationships and finances, and is the great attractor to harmonize this energy of as above, so below, our spirit versus our bodies, our physicalness. And so Venus sort of stands in with one foot in both worlds and says, okay, now that I'm this beautiful human and my spirit is encased in this human form, fleshy meat suit, if you will, how do we beautify it? And who do I want to attract in my life that can reflect some of that back to me? And then right after we get some of these hopefully really comforting and bright and colorful and artful, just feel good kind of sensual feelings and items and things like that, then we can hopefully share them with others, because Venus and Taurus wants to be able to share. So it's an attractor, but there's also a giver part of Venus as well. Now, some things to note for this week as we enter the week. Mercury will make its move into Taurus. It's been in Aries. And in Aries, most likely we've had some really strong conversations. Maybe we're sharper minded, sharper tongued, and we may have found ourselves saying things without thinking or being a little impulsive in the decision-making process. It's great for taking action. However, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, there could have been a little bit too much truth, and maybe it wasn't truth said in love. It was more of just like, I just got to say it. It can make it fun if you keep your wits about you, because Aries energy is very witty, and when something is said or done, they just let it go. It's just in the moment, right? Now with Mercury moving into Taurus, our thoughts start to become more planned, more methodical. The way that we process information, we may want to organize it in a way that makes good sense, and in a way that maybe feels good to ourselves, and we can use our words to help bring comfort to others. Mercury in Taurus wants time also to process. So you may find that your conversations, the ones that you've started, you may go, I need to withdraw for just a minute so that I can understand what's really going on and put it into these nice, neat little, beautiful boxes. And then I'll put a nice little presentation together and I'll share it with you when I'm done. The other thing with Mercury and Taurus is that if you're learning something new or you're wanting to connect the dots, so to speak, with information, this gives you wonderful processes and steps. So it's like, okay, what's the framework or what's the foundation for where we're trying to go? So we've got these long-term visions, right, and plans that we're trying to put in place. And so with Mercury and Taurus, we're going to look at what's the foundation, and then what's the next step now that we've got a solid base beneath us, because Taurus is very reliable. It's very solid. It's the bull. It wants to have its groundedness, right? And so it's got this base to it. And then it says, okay, the next step will be this, and then the next will be that. So if you find yourself or others moving a little slower than normal, patience is a virtue at this time. because the sun will also move into Taurus just after Mercury. So the sun moves into Taurus on the 20th, so a day after. And so we're going to be actively feeling more sensual, more in our bodies, probably looking for comfort food, probably also looking for ways in which we can be tenacious and determined to accomplish certain things or just to enjoy life. This is a very pleasurable kind of energy. So I just want to offer that. If you find yourself exhausted, if you find yourself frustrated, or all those emotions that come in that just really agitate you, this Taurus energy is the invitation to harness it and go, wait a minute, maybe I need to just have a little bit more pleasure right now. And that pleasure could be, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching Netflix for, binge watching time for hours on end. And I'm eating some delicious food and drinking some delicious wine, and I'm just going to enjoy myself. That could be it. Now, because we are dealing with the senses, it also leads to maybe there's body movement, maybe there's dance, maybe there's sex, maybe there's physical activity like going out in nature or going to the gym, whatever it might be. So moving the body. But I can tell you that when Taurus is going to move the body, it's going to be in its own time, in its own way. This is a great time for those of you who are wanting to mix it up in the bedroom, light the candles, put the music on, give yourself that beautiful lingerie if that's what you want, or, the massage body work. That's always a great sensual thing to do with this Taurus energy. This week, we're briefly going to have a squaring off of the moon because it'll be in Leo as Mercury and Venus and the sun are in Taurus. It's just going to be very brief because the moon moves pretty fast, about 2.5 days through the signs. And so starting off the week, we may feel a little agitated because we want this pleasure and we want to process things and we want to be able to have the sensual nature to us. And with the moon in Leo, it's like, what about me? I need to know who's my pride, who is loyal to me. I want to make sure that I lavish everybody with all these wonderful things that I have to offer them. And maybe I need a little praise and attention for it as well. But with the square, remember there's tension. You may not get the reciprocation that you're looking for. So if that triggers you, just be patient, because things will start to loosen up as the moon moves through the other signs. And it's just for a couple of hours, really. So if you feel that agitation, go out in nature. It's a great way to harness this Taurus energy. Now, on the 22nd, so just a couple of days after the sun moves into Taurus, Venus, so Venus is a big theme, and Mars will be as well this week, but Venus is going to canoodle with Uranus. And when Venus and Uranus are canoodling, anything can go, because Uranus is the planet of sudden change, excitement, surprise, it's that lightning bolt of intuition. And Venus ruling finances and relationships and attraction, as I've mentioned, you may suddenly receive some financial assistance or the big client or a new job offer, anything, especially if you've been planting these seeds all along, right? Because we're in spring here in the US or the Northern Hemisphere as well. Also, you could attract some unusual people into your life, which makes it, kind of fun and exciting. Relationship. I'll keep pointing back to that because we're relating to somebody or something all the time, right? But if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, it could be that you're suddenly attracted to somebody quite unusual, or you attract a new partner into your life and you're like, suddenly my social life is so busy with this Uranus energy, because Uranus is a very social planet. We may also find that we break free from relationship dynamics because we can't be our free-spirited self. So if you're irritated with that Leo moon at the beginning, and then Venus canoodling with Uranus could suddenly go, you know what? I'm out of here because I need to be my free spirit. I need to do my own thing. And yes, so that could create some dynamics in relationships that you'll have to work with. However, what I can tell you is that your magnetism is going to be super heightened during this time. And so you could easily attract the situations, experiences, or people into your life that allow you to nurture that free spirit, and then maybe go back to that person and say, okay, look, here's the deal. And you guys have a chance to talk about it because Mercury's in Taurus, so you take your time. The other thing I want to point out for this week and moving forward for a while is that conversations may not have resolution in the moment. You may have to have multiple conversations where you take your time to come to the conclusion or to agree on the result. Okay. The other thing with this Venus canoodling Uranus is that you could have sudden creative bursts of inspiration or art kind of ideas. So if you're in the art community and you feel like you've had creative block, writer's block, choreography block, whatever it might be in the art world, this is a great activation for that. Also, right after Venus and Uranus canoodle, Mars moves into Cancer. Mars has been in Gemini for the last couple of months. It now moves into Cancer on the 23rd. It is in its fall. I'm not going to go into what Mars in its fall position really means because it's not a good or bad. It basically, keep in mind, Mars is the planet of drive, of motivation, the god of war. It wants to get things done. And Cancer is watery, and it needs security, and it needs to be able to control the environment. Mars is not so much about control. Mars is about impulse, right? But Cancer is like, I can't act until I feel really safe and secure right now. And I need to make sure that my emotional body is in alignment with what's happening around the environment. But we are going to have Mars starting a sextile, which is a positive aspect when we're working with astrology. It's going to start making a positive aspect with the sun. And Mars in Cancer is going to offer protectiveness. It's going to offer this ability to be able to manipulate our minds, our situations, our ideas, our people around us. If we can use manipulation in a positive way, allows us to manipulate a difficult situation to make it positive by nurturing ourselves, maybe through family connections, maybe doing home-related projects. We may feel highly protective of others who maybe need a voice and don't speak up for themselves. So this is where we can use the Mars and Cancer energy in a very positive way. Of course, there's the negative side to manipulation, passive aggressiveness, that sort of thing. Do watch out for that because that is something that we do have to pay attention to. And we may also find that with this Mars and Cancer energy for the next couple of weeks into June even, that we are going to probably be more sensitive than normal, especially to like anger. Little things could trigger us where we're suddenly like, okay, I'm feeling super defensive about my idea, or I'm super defensive about my family, or what you just said. You know, it reminds me of, so I have an older brother. We're only 15 months apart, and I could pick on him all day long. But if anybody else picked on him, I was all over that. I was all over that person. I was like, no way, you don't mess with my family, right? That's the kind of feeling we'll have with Mars and Cancer. And it could apply to any area of our life. So if we're defending our friendships, or we're defending a relationship, or we're defending our family, or maybe our own ideas, keep that in mind. Now, it could also be, like I say, this passive aggressive stuff that goes on where it's like, well, if you really want to, you don't have to. I know I've done it. I've been on the receiving end of it. And so what I would say is, if you find yourself being manipulated or having this feeling that someone is trying to overpower you, take a step back, remember healthy boundaries. Mars and Cancer can be really good for setting healthy boundaries because Mars says, I'm going for this no matter what. And the reason is to protect not only myself, but maybe somebody else. So the other thing with Mars and Cancer is that there's going to be this abundance of emotional energy. There is probably going to be a lot of ideas and feelings around romance as well. And so you may find a lot more heartfelt gestures. You may be more heartfelt in the way in which you express your love and your emotions. Affection could be overly abundant during this time, especially with this sextile to the sun and all this beautiful Taurus energy that is going to complement the Cancer energy. So I would say that these next few weeks in particular, and we'll start to get a little taste of it this week, is that we should start to feel more loving, more intuitive with what others may need, what we may need, and we may be able to offer not only our nurturing and protection, but our love, simply because we love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, one other little pin on the map for this week is Mars is going to square off with the moon. So again, the moon's going to move through these signs pretty quickly, but it does square off with the moon in Libra on Saturday, causing some irritation for the weekend. But Mercury and Venus will be canoodling with each other in Taurus on Sunday. And when Mercury and Venus are canoodling, then you may be able to find the courage and the time and the energy to share with somebody how you really feel about them. This could be, like I say, that whole Mars and Cancer energy that says, I just love you and I want to express it so much. And Venus is a positive planet, and Mercury, of course, is our planet for information and communication. So it may be like, I can't help myself. I just have to tell you how much I love you. You could also be on the receiving end of that. So it's not just you, maybe somebody finally shares with you, hey, I have loved you for a long time, or everything that you've been doing for me has been so wonderful, and I just want to let you know that, or I've noticed all of your hard work and it's really paying off. It could be that our creative and artistic ideas start to really show up, our skill sets, that sort of thing, opportunities around that. I would capitalize on Sunday, if you can, being charming and gracious and poetic, even in the self-expression. So you may find others are the same. It's a great time for socialization if you can. All right, you guys, I really hope that this video helps. Please like, subscribe, share. Let me know how it's going. Comment. I'd love to hear. Find me at jamiedawn.com. Don't forget, I have the April horoscopes by sign available also here on this channel. And I want to know how you are. I look forward to connecting with you. Have such a great week, everybody.